Hello, Duckies and Dice Fiends. Welcome. We are back. It is the final, I guess it's technically not the final stream because David is going to be doing some video games and some programming streams. But this is the last tabletop show of 2023. David, how's it 2024? How?
Time is a flat circle.
It's a weird soup. And we've all seen the time knife.
We have all seen the time knife.
So welcome in. I am Kay. I am one of your co-hosts here. But I'm here with David. Who the heck is you? And what the heck do we do here? Especially for our new friends on LiveSpace.
Yes, welcome new friends on LiveSpace. Hi, I am still wondering what Jolene looks like. My name is David, and this is the Chaotic Wholesome Tuesday Presents show talking of TTRPG-ness. This is the Chaotic Wholesome Presents Tuesday Table Talk show, where every week we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better player, how to be a better GM, how to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
So yes, this is, look at those wording, right? David is a very good worder.
I worded
I'm
one.
Kay. For those of you who don't know me, I work in video games by day, and I do TTRPG stuff every free moment, including this past Sunday, where David and I wrote and co-GM'd. I don't know. I think it was very fun, and my DMs kind of blew up with compliments, so I think it was pretty good.
It was excellent. It was brilliant.
A very fun game for charity called A Lullaby for the Christmas Lich. I actually need to go and update the Tiltify page because oh, thank you, because we did a thing. The VOD just went up. Kato, welcome on in. The VOD just went up today on our YouTube, which is just Chaotic Wholesome. You don't have to do the presents on YouTube. The Tiltify link is in the chat. The Tiltify will stay open until the end of the year. We raised over $1,500. That is $500 over our original goal. And oh, thank you, David. I linked to the wrong thing. But yes, so speaking of, Kato is hanging out. For those of you who are across various platforms, Kato is hanging out in our Twitch stream. And Kato is the seed of the Christmas Lich adventure. In fact, we nearly changed. So, okay, let me back up. Last year, we did a truly incredible game with Candace the Magnificent, Holly Conrad, David Tilstra, oh gods, who else did we have? Dungeon Glitch, Calamity, and Lamar the Con Guy. And it was an incredible time. And in that one, we sent the party into the Edison Emerald Mines to retrieve a tin of cookies, which was stolen from Mrs. Tin by Melon Tusk. So we spent the entire time making fun of Elon Musk for charity. This year, we actually almost scrapped that one entirely because Kato, who knows my rabid distaste of Christmas music, was like, you should write an adventure about Pariah Carey. And I'm like,
Yep.
Pariah Carey?
Yep.
But none of us knew if Twitter would still be around this year.
Right.
So we were like, we got to do Melon Tusk right now. And then this year we got to do Pariah Carey again. So this year was a party of Jin Mac, aka Youngles, Latia Jaquise, Candace the Magnificent, Holly Conrad, Katie Asaurus, and Persephone, Steffi Valentine, who was only able to hang out for a little bit because tech gremlins suck. But the Christmas Lich had been singing since January, which meant, since July. And everyone had been buying things. And, well, as is often the case in real life, D&D, and especially our games, corporate greed was the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you Scooby-Doo pull off the mask, it's capitalism in there.
It's yeah, as is often the case in many D&D campaigns, especially the streamed kind. And so yes, we just posted the edited VOD today. It has all of the volumes balanced and punched up. It's got smoother transitions. It's got the credits more nicely in there. So if you have the time, and that is a good point, Cato. I will post that. Oh, Cato got it. If you have the time, hop by there. If you can watch it, great. If you can't, not a problem. If you can give us a like, if you can leave a comment, or again, just hit that thumbs up button. Or if you're not, subscribe it. If you're not followed, again, subscribing is free on YouTube. If you could subscribe, we are inching ever closer to monetization, and we might be at the halfway point by the end of the year if things continue. Thank you all so much. Liking and subscribing really, really, really does help. But yes.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ring that bell.
Ring that bell. I never thought.
It feels dirty.
Right?
It feels dirty.
I never thought that I would become that person, but here we are.
I don't like it. I'm like, I literally just need to get to the 500 subscribers so I can stop talking about it.
Right. Right. Listen, go out, find 300 of your closest friends, have them all click the thing so we don't have to do this anymore. So that you never have to hear us say that again.
Yeah, this is not the way I wanted to be ending the year, but here we are. So, yeah, David and I wanted to write a story about Christmas music starting too early in the year. Or at least I wanted to write a story about Christmas music starting too early in the year. And we had a great moment because it was like Pariah Carey as the Christmas Lich wakes up at Christmas every year and starts feeding off of everyone's Christmas music was the perfect setup. Like, it felt so good. But then David and I had a moment of like, David's like, Kay, are we really comfortable with having the party kill Mariah Carey? And I'm like, no, we are not comfortable with the party killing Mariah Carey. That's got to be a red herring that leads to something else.
Yeah, in our discussions about it, we're like, listen, like, for one, Mariah Carey is a legend. For two, it feels icky to like gang up on somebody who really gave us the only new Christmas song in like 50 years. And because like Mariah Carey's not a villain. Like it's right. A meme that people go, oh no, this song again. But it's like the song wouldn't be that popular if people didn't actively enjoy it. And two, like, it's not a crime to bring holiday cheer to the public. Like, we're not going to be those people who are like, how dare you enjoy something? How dare you be having a good time? We can't have any of that here.
And again, I worked retail. And for those of you who don't know the old lore of K Dampier, I worked at a Blockbuster. Those trailer tapes were 1 hour long. They had 3 Christmas songs per loop, as well as at least 2 Christmas movies, which would have clips of those same 3 Christmas songs in them. So I was hearing the same Christmas songs, the exact same 3 Christmas songs at least 9 times an hour.
Yikes.
So your friend doesn't do Christmas music. Even on Christmas Day, I don't want to hear it. I don't. But my best friend is like, Christmas music is viable all year round. Anytime you're feeling down, just put on Christmas music. And I'm like, you are a monster, and I'm so glad it makes you happy.
Yeah, that is one instance of Bohemian's glitter bomb directly to the face.
But breadstick is now in existence.
I am.
What you doing? What you up to?
Llama Llama Red Pajama. No, so Ludacris, rapper from the South, So like you know how like kids books rhyme. He did Llama Llama Red Pajama on like a radio show, and it is the best rendering of a children's book in the history of renderings uh, of children's books.
And so yes, we had a lot of fun coming up with red herrings and obviously the puns. Our pun game was very strong this year. We had puns that people very clearly didn't get, which is great and fine. But David, do you want to tell the Treyarch?
So, it was very obvious that it was about Blizzard Activision and a certain CEO in Blizzard Activision. And Treyarch is one of the sub companies that makes the Call of Duty games. And so I had to throw in we threw in references to like a bunch of games. We threw in a reference to World of Warcraft. We threw in there's a reference to another game that I'm not remembering, and we threw in the Call of Duty reference with Treyarch. And what I should have done is I should have named a character Soap, and then said what kind of name is Soap. Just because out of all of the dialogue in all of the Call of Duty games, and keep in mind, I stopped playing Call of Duty games like possibly a decade ago, maybe 5 years ago. I don't know, the pandemic made time weird, but a long time ago. I think I played Black Ops 3 with a friend of mine because they wanted to play zombies or something. And so I played like 10 hours of that at the end. But the one line out of all of the Call of Duty games going back to like the mid 2000s that I remember is, what kind of name is Soap?
But do you want to explain the Treyarch for those who maybe? So for those of you who didn't watch it, this is a very minor spoiler. It was more of a gag than it was anything. But at one point, they run into a character who's carrying around a silver tray with like television tray legs on it. And they're reaching through. There's a weird magic thing that's happening. And they're reaching through this portal in the middle of this silver tray.
Yep. And the silver tray is how they were getting access to Pariah Carey's lair. I don't know if Treyarch is a 40K. I have no idea.
Tell it while I look it up.
The Call of Duty games for a while switched back and forth between which company was making them, and one was Infinity Ward one year, and then the next one it would be Treyarch that was making them. And so Treyarch, who makes Call of Duty, who's under Activision, who is now under Activision Blizzard, that's the joke. The joke is it's the company that makes the game. The end.
Warhammer COD would be an awesome game, but it does not look like they do it. But so yes, there were lots of weird puns and references, and I don't know. Those of you who don't know, I went to PAX and I came home from PAX, and 2 days after getting home from PAX, I came down with COVID. So I definitely caught it at PAX. The good news is I did not spread it at PAX because I was not contagious until after I was home. But a good chunk of this was literally written in a fever dream.
Yep.
And Breadstick was one of those. I was like, I know we need a little drummer boy. I love the idea of the drummer boy being a little goblin boy. We need a name. I should ask some of my friends for good names, or Breadstick. No, it's Breadstick. And now Breadstick exists.
Yep. Breadstick. We will all fall for Breadstick. Nothing bad will ever happen to Breadstick.
I was quite literally unprepared for how invested the player characters were in keeping Breadstick safe, because now that you've seen the end, you know how Breadstick's ends the story. And I'm like, I need Breadstick to be off on his own.
Right. Right.
I'm about to give you
Breadstick will be
Mo.
fine.
I'm about to give you Mo. And this is the first party that didn't try and take off with Mo.
Yeah. Usually they're like, we have a handbag. Mo is going into the handbag.
Mo is going in it. Yes. So yes, it was a very fun. Again, a lot of it felt a little bit like a fever dream, probably because I wrote it while having a fever, or at least a good chunk of it.
And
David,
I need everybody to know that like 10 jokes that we were planning just didn't make it into the script because we didn't have room.
There was no room, there was no time, and our players were freaking incredible.
Yeah.
Everyone was so fun. Yeah, Rex, I was not prepared for that to be Fancy Boy's reaction to Mo. I was like, oh, definitely left an impression. Not the one I thought it would be.
Right.
But yeah, this was my first time getting to play with Latia. And Latia's Mo impression.
Right. Right. Was just, yeah, I did not expect that. And like everyone was really impressive. And every time Kay does incredible work with our casting, and like any production, casting is 90% of the work, in terms of like your quality, and Kay always gets the best people.
I asked people who were way bigger, better, and above my league, and occasionally one or two of them or six of them will say yes, and then it's great. Was this a Wayheart game? So this is not necessarily Wayheart canon. For those of you who don't know, one of the things we said this is a great transition because we were going to talk about 2024. We have 2 secret projects that we are working on. And I guess one is not so secret as we've been dropping hints for a long time. It's a thing called Wayheart. And some of you are more familiar with Wayheart than others. What are we going to say about Wayheart? Wayheart is a project that we are going to hopefully launch in 2024. That's what we're going to say about Wayheart. We've been working on Wayheart for quite a while. And will you be able to look at the timeline of Wayheart and say, this happened here? No. However, if you notice, last year's Christmas game was also set in Wayheart. The Adventurers Guild is a lovely little springboard for things that happen in Wayheart. It's an excellent little springboard of, again, as we said a little bit in the introduction, Wayheart is a place that is known to be a great place for adventurers to get their start. So we're using it, and if we put that name out there and it's somewhere in consciousness, great. There is another secret project that we are working on that we really can't say too much about, other than bespoke system with actual play attached.
Yep.
And the other thing, and it is technically live now, and we are technically live on it, but we mentioned this in our Discord, but as some of y'all are hanging out here, I will say it again, and for the VOD, obviously, we are an AP. We run games, often for charity, but also we do things like commission overlays and commission art. And we want to, our goal is to be able to pay every performer who comes on our channel. And so figuring out ways that we can not just bleed money is a big goal of us for 2024. We're doing very well thanks to all of our incredible, generous subscribers right now. We are at 499 followers on Twitch, and we are so grateful for all of your help and support. Like we said before, one of the big things we're going for is trying to get that monetization on YouTube. The other thing we applied to and were approved for the LiveSpace Boost program. So that is one of the reasons that we are multi-streaming onto LiveSpace, is that we receive, minus a processing fee, we receive 100% of the subscriptions that we get through LiveSpace. That does not have to mean anything to you because we are still going to be live streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and LiveSpace. All of them are the same quality. Twitch and YouTube both get a little bit more of the overlay treatment. But if you choose to support us through LiveSpace, it is $4.99, exactly like Twitch. With Twitch, we get $2.50 of it. Daddy Bezos gets the other $2.50. With LiveSpace, we will get $4.65. It was so close to being 69 cents for every subscription. Again, you do not have to do anything different. You do not owe us anything, but if you choose to support, that is a way that you can have your money go a little bit longer. Yes, we only get it for a year. But we were very fortunate that LiveSpace was like, you do TTRPG content. We don't have much of that. Like, honestly, again, I talk a lot about shoot your shot, ask people questions, put yourself up for things, both in the TTRPG space, in the streaming space, in the job space, especially if you're a femme or a person of color or queer. Don't self-eliminate yourself from job listings because you don't tick every box. Like, try. Exactly. That's what we did. We didn't meet the streaming requirements on LiveSpace, and we said, you know what? Our content is different from what you have. We're consistent. We have a great community. We're going to try. And they went, you know what? Yeah, you can have the split for a year. So thank you, LiveSpace. It is still a new and upcoming platform. It still has its challenges. We absolutely and completely understand if you're like, I like Twitch or I like YouTube. I don't know LiveSpace, so I don't, what I will say is that LiveSpace does not actually touch your credit card numbers at all. They use Stripe. Hey, Candace, one of our performers from Sunday, the truly magnificent Candace. So that is one of the things you will see in 2024 is us really pushing onto LiveSpace because they're being very kind to us.
Yeah. Definitely. I posted it in the Twitch chat. I will post it. I gotta find YouTube.
Rex Verde says, I give you permission to have the audacity of an underqualified white man. Signed, Rex, an underqualified white man.
And remember that the answer is no until you ask the question. Simply asking the question improves your odds to 50-50. It goes from 0% to 50%.
And honestly, half the time, you're not even going to get a no. You're just going to get a nothing. And so it's not like anything has changed. And especially in the TTRPG space, I can count. I've shot my shot to a lot of people, y'all. To a lot of people. Way bigger deal than me. I can count on one hand, not just the number of times that an unkind answer has been given to me, but an unkind answer has been given to people I know who shot their shot, right? One hand, I can count it. It's less than 5. And it's really cool when you get to be like, I hella admire this person. This person is part of the reason I'm in the space, and now I get to run a game with them, or now I get to help promote the thing that they're doing. It's awesome and it's wonderful.
I am reminded of an interview that I saw with Willem Dafoe for not Anchorman, the Under the Sea fellow, with the trident. DC Aquaman.
Oh,
bam.
Like,
and the interviewer is like, it's really odd that you're doing this sort of movie, like a big action comic book. And he's like, I love this shit. No one ever asked me. No. The question was like, how? Like you don't usually do this, and it's like, how did they get you into? He's like, oh, he asked me. He's like, excuse me. He's like, I never ever get to do this sort of thing, and I love it. Like, put me up in the harness and dangle me from the ceiling for like 12 hours a day. This is a great time, but just no one ever. And that is something I found in the TTRPG community. I have heard multiple people, including very big names, who are like, well, I got nothing on my calendar. I had nothing to do. and people are like, how could you, like a powerhouse of talent, have nothing to, because people are like, I'm too small, I'm too itty bitty, I can't possibly ask this person to show up. And so no one ends up asking them. Listen, Willem Dafoe, he's been in superhero movies, okay? He is the Green Goblin, and he was someone in Aquaman. I haven't seen Aquaman yet. I should see that at some point. But yeah, like every time I'm like, hey Candace, can you maybe, I feel like I'm reaching into the stratosphere.
Candace. Ooh, Candace.
And yeah, like everyone we work with is really incredible. Like Herb with Godplane. Herb was like, no one asked me to do horror games. Like I have never done a horror game before. Why, I don't know why I would. And then boom, and it was great.
Phineas was an experience.
Yeah.
And my life is better for it.
Yeah, everything is better for it. Even Christmas themed Lethal Company games on other channels have been improved by Herb's Godplane experience.
Oh. And in 2024, I feel so official saying this. Like, I feel so fancy, but we have to finish working on some contracts.
Yep.
And once that's done, you just might see some more faces on this channel. And I'm so excited.
Yep.
What's that thought? I see it percolating.
Remember to like and subscribe. It's criminal.
But yet it occurred to me, because I was like, we should talk about your interview, and I'm like, we could talk about Godplane. Godplane was last year.
Yeah.
How has it been that fast but short? That long but that recent.
Right. Time is weird soup.
Time is such a weird soup. So yes, we did a lot of the talk show this year. We had a wonderful summer game run by Candace the Magnificent of Flabbergasted. And we did ponies.
Yep.
Ponies. Oh, redeems are back. Oh, yeah. We have to remember to go back and turn on all the redeems again. End of 2023 question. What is something that you planned that didn't work out? I mean, this is the second year that David and I have said Wayheart will be out by summer, no question.
Yep.
I was very excited for there was something that was supposed to be on this channel that I was really excited to do, but
flames.
Flames. It didn't work out
on the side
because
of my
PS,
face.
And one
breathing,
of these days,
heaving breath.
I will get to play my cursed character. One of these days. The character themselves is not cursed, but every game I've ever supposed to play this character in has been canceled.
I think I broke it. It.
How did you break it?
I was trying to fix it. I was trying to fix it, and it didn't work.
Oh gods.
Okay, everything's back. Everything's back. Yeah.
Okay, so hit studio mode.
Yep.
Go to the overlay thing. Go to, what would it be? Icons and alerts.
Yep.
And find the welcome message and just turn eyeball those off.
Yep. It is done.
Okay, good job.
This is what I get for trying to screw with things in the middle of the stream, because like it's not working. I need to fix it.
Yeah, David's streamer bot wants to fight David.
Yep.
Like that's all it is. Just wants to fight David.
But yeah, I was trying to.
Hey, cake!
Oh wow, those aren't like on at all. That's weird. Cause I turned the thing back on. Oh, I know what I need to do.
You're professionals.
Platform.
Streaming is alchemy, in case you don't know. Like, and if anyone, I've known people who've been like, I should be able to stream, and then walked away overwhelmed and angry or upset. Streaming is difficult. Getting fancy looking streams is difficult. The number of streamers, and some of y'all know what I used to do. I have worked with some very big name streamers. They do not set up their own streams. They pay professionals to make their streams really, really, really fancy. Hello, crew. Welcome on in. But yes, so that is a thing that we wished had happened in 2023. Maybe in 2024, I'll get to play my cursed character. We will see.
Flames.
Do you have anything else, David, that in 2023
On the side of my face.
Happened?
Breathing. Breath.
I mean, I had hoped that I'd spend more time
Flames.
learning programming and have a programming job by now, but that's been true for like too long now. In addition to that, Wayheart is a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, like we're excited to get it out, but on the other hand, it keeps growing, and the more feedback we get, the more we have to add to it, and the more intricate it gets. And so and that's good, because that means that it's going to be better when it gets out the door. But yeah, like it feels like, sometimes it feels like walking forward in like hip high water, where it's like this is slower than I want it to be. But we are making progress.
We are. And the cursed character, yes, is the one I talked about at the Terra panel. But yeah, and Wayheart, we've gone back and forth on which system do we need to run it on? Do we need to change the system? Which, as much as I want to run it in a different
OGL
system,
thing.
well, beyond the OGL thing.
Right.
Like, y'all, Pathfinder's 3 action economy is really cool. It's just really cool. And running it, if we run it in 5e, which David and I know 5e best, and then also for reasons, it is, let me put it this way, it is easier and faster for the uninitiated to make a character in 5e than it is in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Pathfinder can be really, really, really amazing. I've had so much fun building characters there, but it takes a lot of work. But for reasons, allowing people to quickly or more easily create characters is important. So we've gone back and forth on that as well, about like which system are we going to use. Path Builder is great. I would not, Uenya would not exist if not for Path Builder, because I would have just given up. I'm not going to lie. Ooh, David's hair is extra resplendent today. We were just talking about picking out your hair too.
Yep. But thank you.
I wish that some people had been kinder to some of my friends in 2024, or or 2023. Like everyone's lives would be better if people had just been better. But you know, it's we live and we learn, and as always, be kind to yourself, be excellent to others, watch out for your friends. And if someone's being crappy to someone, odds are they're probably being crappy to someone else too. So, you know, pay attention to that. Take care of your friends. That's really important.
One other thing that I meant to do this year that will not get done until next year is I meant to like redo my whole streaming setup, like get the third monitor. I never thought I would be a person that would need 3 monitors. I spent a good chunk of my life doing my professional job on a 13-inch laptop screen. And I was like, this is I got everything I need here. I did not have everything I need. And so like I finally expanded to like 2 monitors, and I was like, oh man, look at all this space I have for activities. I'll never need more. Y'all, like, especially Sunday when we were doing the charity game, I was like, I need a 3rd monitor. And yeah.
Yeah. I have 3, and I am trying to figure out how I can finagle a 4th. Because God's having a 4th would be so nice.
But yeah, definitely gonna have 3 and an entire second computer set up is what the eventual like spaceship command center is going to be. And I've gotten a bunch of cool like TTRPG stuff, and I would like to like have it in a place where people can see it.
Yeah.
Now I'm not decked out like Kay is.
I mean, you're getting there.
Are.
You've got that you got a big old dice now.
Oh man. So part of my Christmas present, and I'm not gonna go through all of it.
Hello, Jessica Domestica.
But I have said on stream more than once that I love big fuck off dice. And Kay is like, David loves big fuck off dice. So for Christmas, I've got like big fuck off dice. Like I actually have a regular D20 here somewhere.
It is not here. Here's a regular D20. And this is my copy of David's dice. So it's a
this is a D12, but like big. Like
the really funny thing is, for anyone who wonders about the size difference between myself and David, just hold it up to your palm. Just
yeah.
Look at how small my hands are compared to David's.
I've got thick boys over here, and it has its own little bag. I'm going to need a bigger bag for all of my dice bags to go into. And again, I never thought I would be this guy.
Also, that dice bag that I sent it in was just a dice bag I had laying around. It doesn't really fit, so we might have to find you a bigger dice bag because it's a very tight squeeze.
Listen, I'm going to leave that joke alone.
Yep, that's a good call. That's a very good call. I realized it as it was coming out of my mouth. We'll also leave that one alone. But, so yes, that particular dice was a PAX Unplugged purchase, which is one of the cooler things that I got to do in 2023. I got to go to PAX Unplugged. I spoke on 2 panels. One was the Tarot and TTRPG panel, which was recorded and is available on the PAX YouTube. I can find that. Oh, look at that. Nope, that's the wrong one.
Also here.
Thank you. I'm trying to talk. Oh, did you have that already? Are you that quick?
Well, this is the Twitch one, not the YouTube one. Because
I don't think they have a YouTube one, which...
Okay. Because David is still making his way through it. But also, there's a lot of video to watch.
There is. it's not like we've been at all busy getting ready for our biggest game of the year.
Right. That too.
So yes, I got to speak at that panel, and then I also got to do Tales of the Tavern with the incredible gamer mom Luna, who is just one of the best human beings. And got to pick up a few goodies, including this really amazing cyberpunk tarot deck.
Yeah.
And those big old chonker dice. Next year, 2024, I'm hoping I get to do more panels. I'm hoping both of us get invited to more games. The incredible Matt Mimics and Misfits has already extended some offers for games, and I got to be on his channel earlier with I got to play Kai, my not at all creepy android. They are not a big bad in disguise.
This time.
This time. I am very excited here is a fact which some of you may or may not know. But there is occasionally drama in the TTRPG community. Occasionally things in the TTRPG community don't go well. One of the things I did in 2023 was I got to join a game called Chalice: The Twilight Road, which was a homebrew horror game. It was originally done within the homebrew Call of Cthulhu system, but since decided to go use a different system, which was Into the Breach, where we use cards instead of dice, which mixed feelings on. It's kind of cool. It's kind of weird. I know, surprised Pikachu face. There's drama. And here's the thing. It was on the initiative order. And I do not know enough about what went on with the initiative order because I was just a person on the show. But, the initiative order doesn't exist anymore. And we've spent a little bit of time looking at what do we want to do with Chalice, and it has been really, really cool to work with. Because here's the thing about, Initiative Order does still exist as like a community platform, but they don't do streams or APs anymore. That was some fun drama. The interesting thing about Twilight Chalice Road is it's one game. It's one story, but there's two groups. And in that, I play Burton, and I'm a warden. That means I'm, part of the law. And me and my partner and another character, maybe more from season 1, are on the trail of the characters from season 1. They got split at the end of season 1, and we got partnered up with one of the characters who got left behind. So it's in two groups, and my group is chasing the other group. And so even though we had played the same game for the better part of a year, I had never met half of the other players. Like half of the players I had never spoken to or been in a game with. So it's been really fun, deciding how we're going to move this forward, where we're going to do it, who's responsible for what, how much. Thank you so much, Jessica. Really appreciate that YouTube subscription. We might hit 250 by the end of the year, and that would be so great.
That would be great.
So it's, and I feel like drama is so tiring. And this was a special thing from what I understand, but again, I wasn't fully. But I think this is an experience as TTRPGs are really, really interesting because, and we've talked about this before, anytime you play a TTRPG, you are making yourself just a little bit vulnerable. No matter how fun and safe the game is, you put at least a little bit of yourself out there. Chalice is a horror game, so you end up putting a little bit more of yourself out there. So you can very quickly bond with these people that you're playing with because you're all sharing the same adventure, you're all sharing the same story, you're super into your characters. But then you kind of generally don't really talk to or hang out with these other people. Like, you might hang out and chat with them on stream, but like outside of, is this person late? Is this person rude out of character? Is that, you don't really have a working relationship with these people. So some of you might be familiar with some of the bigger streamers will sometimes talk about, like, even though they have hundreds, maybe thousands of followers, it's kind of a lonely thing because you really don't get to connect with others. There's a little bit of that in the TTRPG space because, hey, Profits TV, thanks for hanging out. Because there is a certain amount of loneliness to it in that, yes, I know this person, I like them, I know their character. I don't know them. I don't know their personal life outside of maybe they said, I really don't want to deal with this topic today because I'm tired, or I've had a really bad day. I would like to fight something because I want to punch something through rolling dice. So it's been really exciting for even the small group that I have played with consistently, getting to know them out of character and getting to talk with them and be like having the conversations that you sometimes actually don't even get to have in like the season 2 of a game, where you're like, where do we want this story to go? How do you feel about it? Jessica says, I appreciate the cause/charity focus you are doing with the platform, and I'm thinking about creative ways to also /and professionally and personally. Maybe partnering opportunities across communities and platforms. Absolutely. Between David and I, between the games we have run here, the games we've been part of, the games we've helped produce, I need to update the tally. I think we're at over $2,700 raised. I need to double check for charity. Not every game that we do is charity, but we try very hard to make sure that we are giving back, that we are giving to the right charities, that we are supporting the right people at the right times, because it's hard out there. And we also want to be very like loud and clear and humble in that it is hard out there. Not everyone can give. And I think maybe not all of us, but David and I have both been in a situation where we did not have $5 to give. So just chatting, just retweeting, hanging out, all of that very much helps. Even just subscribing to the YouTube means that when we do something that is not charity, helps us get closer to monetizing, which means we can pay our graphic designer, Jason, to make better graphic designs, to get more eyeballs on our charity streams. Like we try to feed it back very consciously. So thank you very much. 2023 TTRPG drama, also known as Are White Women Okay? The answer is no.
Not gonna say a goddamn thing about that.
Yes, that 4K as well. Yeah, we have just through our Tiltify, which included those 4 games, we have raised over $6,000. That's not counting on other channels or other things we have produced. So
yeah,
it feels good. I'm really, really pleased. Candace has been a powerhouse in every one of our charity games. And again, if you don't have the money to give, retweeting, supporting, or even as Candace and David do, donating your time, donating your talents. Candace breaks into song for charity at any chance, and it's a blessing. So yes, 2023 definitely had some downs, but it feels really good to know that we have done some good. I've had a few people reach out saying that performances that we did or stories we told meant a lot to them. So yes, I will drop our email is catacolsonpresents@gmail. I will drop it in chat too. David, say a thing.
And it's important to recognize, like I said this to the players, that I personally really appreciate them giving their time and their energy and their talent and their star power, because when we run charity games, it's like, well, we don't have any like money or anything. Do you want to come and do a good thing? And they're like, I will take time out of my busy schedule to do a good thing. Um, and we've had people in the past like move things around in their schedule and like upend things and reschedule things so they could come and work for free. And like, yeah, they have a good time and everything, but uh, a lot of people that we have had the privilege of working with won't show up to anything unless there's money on the table, which is a fair and valid way to operate. Like, I've gotten into arguments with friends of mine in the past because Kay and I are both on the page of like, pay your friends for the things they do professionally. If you know somebody who's a graphics designer and they do graphics design for you, send them some money. And we and so like, you know, one of the things I do is I edit resumes and cover letters. And there are times when people really need that work when they don't have money. And so I'll be like, send me your resume, send me your cover letter, I will work on it. It won't be like the last version of this, but it'll be improved. And they've gone, oh, well, I need to. I'm like, no, you don't. Because if I'm going to charge you, I'm going to charge you retail rates. And I don't get out of bed and go across the room to my computer for less than $25 an hour. And that is the absolute cheapest service I offer. And what you're asking me is going to be more than expensive than that. And you don't have several $100s to send me. So like, let's do this so that you can be at a better place. And I've done work for people and they've come back, 6 months, a year. I had one person 3 years later who was like, listen, you did this body of work for me. I really appreciate it. I want to send you money. And I'm like, listen, there is a homeless shelter. There is a food bank nearby. Donate that money to the food bank. Send me a screenshot of the receipt. We'll call it Squaresies. And I really appreciate that we're working with people who are essentially doing the same thing. They're like, it costs $200 to get me to sit in front of a camera for 3 hours. But for this good cause, for charity, I'm going to do that. And they also bring their community. Like, a lot of people who donate aren't necessarily like people who hang out with us. People follow their favorite people to different places. And they see the donation link and they click on it, and watching the donations come in during the game and watching people support their favorite streamers is this really like incredible experience to observe.
Absolutely. And again, we've had folks show up to our games not feeling well. And we're like, if you're not feeling well, please take care of yourself. And they're like, no, we want to be here. I will power through this because I want to be here. I want to be part of the story. I want to donate my time and my talents to this cause. And it is very seen. And it's also why we try very hard. And I don't know how much it shows. I hope it doesn't show while we're playing, but David and I work very hard to, as we call it, land the plane on time and not let a one shot go into the 4.5 hour area. We try to wrap it up and get it done in the 3 hours we said it would be, because there is nothing worse than I need to go. I feel bad. I just don't want to be here anymore, but I don't know when this is going to be done. And I don't want to be the jerk who leaves in the middle of the game, because that makes me not look good. Yes, so many ways to contribute. And it's really, this is what's so cool. We live in an era where you can do a good thing playing games with people that you adore. We live in an era where that's a valid time and a valid way to do that. And it's incredible. Also, if you have the time and you are, not at risk, if you can't go donate your time to sorting toys, to a homeless shelter, to whatever it is you can do, that is also very, very good and important thing to do. But not everyone can do it. And no tea, no shade. And however you figure out how to give back, if you are giving back, we so appreciate you and thank you, however you choose to do it.
Yeah, and again, I'd like to emphasize the little things matter. And even if it's just calling and checking on someone who needs checking up on, even if it's sharing what you got with someone, but you hear about people who spend tens of thousands of dollars to fly halfway around the world to go be a white savior somewhere. And they skip past their family members who are in trouble. They skip past their neighbors and walk past the homeless people on their street. They leave their community and take money and energy and resources and talents out of that community to go thousands of miles away to do something else. And it's you got on an airplane and flew over hundreds of thousands of people who could have benefited from your help. And I have seen people turn someone's life around by saying, hey, you could come into my house and have a shower. It's incredibly dangerous. Don't do that. But I've seen somebody go from, I am homeless living on a street, I can't get a job, I can't do blank, to one person took a chance on them and then they turned their life around. And then their lives and their families' lives and their kids, and just it reverberates out. And the other thing is that people who fall on hard times, when they get in a better position, on average, can't say it happens with everyone, reinvest resources to making other people's lives better. The number of cancer survivors that slap down money this time of year for cancer charities is overwhelming. So Kay and I said, like Kay said earlier, we've both been in a position where we didn't have $5 to give to anything. But I know Kay has done a lot for a lot of communities, even if it's just talking to people and putting together an Excel spreadsheet. And it was incredibly important. Or, we as a channel, we went, hey, these things are going on in the world. We're not going to play these games. We're not going to go and stream in the midst of all this out of respect for other people. And I've given money to charity. I have worked with actually shown up and done work for charity organizations. And I've also had people call me and say, hey, get down here, we need an extra pair of hands. And I'm like, I can't do it. Can't do it. So do what you can. Every little bit helps. And one last thing I will say is that the reason people are so cruel, the reason people say awful things to each other, is because those words are free. It doesn't cost anything. But the opposite is true as well. Kind words are free too. So, the world is mostly unfair. A lot of bad things are happening into the world. But think about your contribution to the world, because your words, you have a tangible impact on the world. As small and insignificant of star matter you might feel, you help shape what the world is. So you can make the world more fair. You can make the world more kind. Shift that in that direction if you can.
And the same is true for TTRPGs, but streaming in general. Urban Bohemian is just an incredibly kind soul with everything, including their knowledge of how to stream. They are always open about, like, if you come to me and say, like, hey, how do I start streaming? I don't have an answer for you because that's too much. But if you come to me and say, hey, I'm trying to do this thing in StreamerBot and I can't make it behave, he'll tell you how to do it. He'll help you out. He'll walk you through it. And I know because he's helped me. My friend, Mr. Live Producer, who set up, coded for us the Pathfinder Assemble Your Party thing through StreamerBot. I said, I think this would be a cool thing. And he said, great. Do you mind if I build it and offer it to other people? And I'm like,
absolutely.
Please. So again, part of, like, look, y'all, I just like playing games. I want to go on other people's channels and, play games with other people and meet new people and tell new stories and have new experiences. And I'm at a table with mostly Australians and learning all sorts of fun, like, local slang and things that I just wouldn't have been exposed to otherwise. And it's great. But also, the more you get to know other people in the community, the more you learn about these incredible talents. I wouldn't know Mr. Live Producer if I hadn't just decided I'm going to apply to this random game because I want to learn Pathfinder, and these people need a player and they seem fun. And now I get to play a ridiculous My Little Pony himbo who's just accidentally tried to steal a thing from a hag, like you do. So if you are selfish in this space, people will notice.
People
so be
have
generous.
noticed.
People have definitely noticed.
And
it's very special to know our community/ambassadorship matters in itself. We are the assets needed for the time going on in 2024 with our voices and platform. Jessica the Best says yes. Like, if you are, some of you know what I used to do. I'm going to be careful exactly what I say because I don't want to call anyone out, right? But there was a certain person who was a streamer who was like, I'm not a role model. And it's like, yes, you are. Like it or not, you are streaming. You have an audience. You can tell people don't be like me, but they're still going to be like you because kids are impressionable. And some kids are 45 years old.
Right. And a reminder that, like, none of this happens in a vacuum. Like, can I spend many hours, more hours than me? More hours than all of us, probably put together, on this. But, like, our thriving Discord community is because of all of you and all the people who participate. DC Lasser and Herb and the producer guy. I keep forgetting.
Mr. Live Producer.
Mr. Live Producer.
And Rex and Friz and Matt and Candace and just all the awesome people who hang out. Like,
and, like, Jason and all these people have, like, made tangible contributions to just getting us set up and keeping us running. And like, in things like Salty Queer and other people who we've had to, like, run ideas by them and be like, listen, we need, like, input. And all of these contributions from this enormous community of people lead us to the point whereby we can make money for charity.
And Candace calling us on this thing that you're saying, that you're planning, might be a bad thing for these reasons. And it's like, oh yes, that did not occur to. Thank you, Candace. Like, listen to your communities, involve your communities, listen to your peers, involve your peers. We always say, like, when people talk about how do I get started streaming, how do I blah, blah, blah. Well, the most important thing is to do something you enjoy and to be yourself. But there's a caveat to that, which is don't just be yourself, be your best self. Because too many people that I have worked with professionally and lots of other, of course, it was very much appreciated. Because we all have blind spots. We all have things that we don't know about, or that we see this thing so clearly from this perspective in our minds that we're not prepared for the other perspective to not be the same perspective. And it's like, oh, oops, well, yes, we want to not mess that up. So listen, I've known too many people who are like, well, I had a person be like, well, racism is an American problem and I'm not an American. I've had comments like, well, I am a woman, so I cannot be a misogynist. It's like, a lot of women have internalized misogyny. Like, these are things. So if you don't listen, if you aren't careful, if you aren't always being at least a little bit open-minded, then you're gonna, it's not gonna go well for you. So that is, and also, and I'm very much yelling at myself here, y'all. This is, David's gonna stink eye me and I'm not even gonna look at him. But like, know your limits. It is, we were talking about 2024. Some of the things I'm going to get better about in 2024, going to try, is asking my community for help and asking who in my community if I teach you a skill, will you, if you have time, contribute some of this back? I will give you tools. I will give you the resources. I will personally teach you how to do things. I mean, yes, Cato, know and find. Find and recognize when you're at your limit and know when you need to back away and ask for help. I am so bad about this because I am... What was the thing about, what do you call an introvert who doesn't want to be a leader, but has to be? It's like, that's me. I'm like, I want to do this. Like, I wanted to play more games and I wasn't getting invited to things because no one knew who I was, which is fair. And I'm like, what if I just started running games? If I just made my own channel and ran TTRPGs, then I could play more TTRPGs. And guess what? It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
It was great. It worked. But then I was like, oh, look at all that I'm doing. David, can I teach you how to do production through OBS? Right. Actually, no, it was David going, I am going to learn how to do production through OBS.
We had a come to Jesus moment where I was like, Kay, we have to chart out all the things. And Kay was like, do I really do all this? I was like, this is not even... You are scratching the surface for all the things that you do. Oh, by the way, you have a day job too.
So, know when to ask. And this is, we had a whole, I forget who I had the conversation with. Oh, I think it was with the child's group. We were talking about some people are pint glasses and some people are teacups. And you might be a pint glass in one area and a teacup in another, right? But you have to know how much you can pour out of yourself before you run dry, before you have nothing left to give. And you also have to be aware, if you are a teacup trying to fill someone who is a pint glass, you are never going to get there. So, a little bit of that is like valuing yourself and your own energies and not even cake cheese on the shot glass.
I had the exact same thought. I was like, listen, teacup sounds way too spacious. It's like the apartment from Friends in the 90s. It's like, how is it that big?
I am a teacup dropped into a pint glass, and now my subconscious is telling me to chug. So I don't want to make it sound like an exchange, because to be fair, all relationships are an exchange, right? And there are times when in relationships I have given more than I've received, but there are also other times when I was at a point and those relationships gave to me more than I was able to give back. And it's not saying keep track, but over the long term, you do have to keep track of, is this person giving back? Is this relationship giving back? And a part of that is valuing yourself. A part of that is just being aware. And a part of that is too, there's an awesome video on the PAX channel about parasocial relationships and you, which, again, we talk about the TTRPG space being really weird and wonderful and interesting because I have now played games. I have run games for and sat at tables with and played alongside the people whom I watched to learn how to play D&D. Not all of them, but a bunch of them. And it's that weird moment of like, I know this person better than they know me, so I'm not going to read into any of these relationships. And then after a certain point, after a certain number of games, after a certain number of Discord messages that didn't include anything racy, no nudity in it, right? Just conversations, just sharing memes. You're like, wait, we might be friends. But are we friends? Am I reading into it? I'm on the wrong end of a parasocial relationship, and I don't want to assume it's a friendship if it's not. That also is a tricky thing to manage in this space. And like, oh, our characters are really good friends, but I don't know this player at all. We've played together for almost 2 years, and we've never talked about our personal lives outside of, yeah, sorry I was late. This is what's going on. So again, it's a tricky space, and you've all heard, if you have been around this channel, you know my golden rules. Try and assume good intent, and nobody owes you anything. If people are willing to come and play with me, great. And if not, they don't owe it to me. I don't get to be mad. I try and assume good intent anywhere I can. But that comes with the caveat of know if you are pouring into a pint glass. Know if you are a shot glass from Spencer's pouring into
a big fuck.
If you're trying to fill this, and all you are is a shot glass, it's not going to work. So know yourself, know your limits, be aware of, because unfortunately, there are people in this space who want to take advantage of others, or who don't mean to, but just take advantage of others. And as we have learned, especially from the indie space in video games, diverse communities have diverse abusers. So assume good intent. And I'm not saying keep a running tally, but keep an eye out.
And another thing that is important is production, or like the volume of production.
As we learned from.
Right. There was a whole big 4-hour-long video of like, oh, how were these people putting out so much content? Oh, they're cutting corners in the most egregious ways.
Plagiarism and YouTube is the name of it. If you haven't watched it,
yeah, it's really good. It's so good. But if you put out 1 or 2 things a year, you're ahead of most people. Mm-hmm. And there are many different paths to content production. Like one of the things that I'm working on for the new year is we've been fortunate enough where other content creators have shared things that they've made with us, and they've gone, we think this thing is really cool. We think that, and I look at this pile of stuff and I'm like, we have to get eyes on this. And so I'm going to be running stuff that is made by these content creators. But also, like, we have the weekly talk show. We run multiple charity games a year. Kay is on a bunch of productions, both recorded and live shows.
I know what you're talking about.
And
don't do anything.
Has panels every year, and we're in multiple years of getting Way Hard off the ground. Like, there are modules that I need to sit down and write, at least 3 modules I need to sit down and write from more than 2 years ago. So like if you're working on something and it feels like it's taking forever and you're watching all these people do all these things and you're like, why can't I keep up? You are ahead of most people. And in a very real way, you're ahead of the people that you are watching in some ways. Cause like there are multiple people, like both that we've had on the talk show and people that I've talked to, that have written and published multiple modules this year, and I'm like, how did you find the time? How did you do that? And you know, there are people that have had like GoFundMe's and backer kits that have launched and been successful. And Kay and I have had a GoFundMe / backer kit. It's not GoFundMe. What was the original one? Kickstarter. Yeah, Kickstarter. No, GoFundMe is for medical care. Woof.
We love this world we live in. This is the best timeline.
But we have like Kickstarter / backer kit thing that we've wanted to do for like 4 years now, that we're just it takes time.
Yep.
So don't feel like you're behind. Keep working on the thing that you're doing, and realistically you only need one good thing. Like there are plenty of people where they did one good thing, not even one good thing, they did one thing badly, and they have been part of the zeitgeist ever since.
Yep.
What's the bad movie? The Room. The Room is objectively one of the worst movies ever made. And I'm sure that guy has made other films, but they did one thing badly and has been part of the zeitgeist ever since. So if you don't have the audacity of the guy who had no idea of what he was doing and then made a movie where he was the star and he didn't know how to direct and he didn't know how to act, if you don't have at least that, then go to the store and buy some. Go shake somebody down for the audacity, because you deserve to have at least that much audacity.
And also, hey, Signal Station. And yes, he is a champ. David and I had a moment this year where we talked about, like, we had stuff that we could have charged ahead with and done it right then, right now. And I was like, David, I don't want to do this yet, because we need to sit down and break out. What are we doing? How much are we doing? How do we do it? Because success can also be a problem. In case you're not familiar with this, success can be a problem, because if there's the stories of the Kickstarters that have failed because they planned to do 50 things and then suddenly they had 50,000 orders.
Yep.
So be aware. Again, I talked about be aware of your limits. Find your limits. Know where they are. Take the time. Like, that's the thing we really tried this year, because we coulda, woulda, shoulda put out more stuff. But I'm like, let's have our foundation. Let's have our socials. Let's have our production line. Let's have all of this worked out before we start taking all this stuff on. Because I would rather launch stuff next year than launch it now and not be able to support it and not be able to tweet about it, and not be able to give the people donating their time and talents, not give them the attention and the quality that they deserve.
Yeah, and it's always a bad idea to actively build a bridge while you are crossing it.
Yes.
And there are many times where we were like, well, we could just do this. It's like, well, we could, but and like, you know, infrastructure is a thing. Like, even stuff like getting the website up and running and nailing that down, and like getting the YouTube channel in place, and like setting up the tech for multi streams. Like I've said many times on this channel, Kay has probably spent more time working on the stream, like working on the tech of the stream, than I have streaming on my own. And you know, I do the Friday gaming streams. I've started doing programming streams. There will be surprise gaming streams, and still, Kay has spent more time off camera making sure all that works. And like y'all saw like 15 minutes ago, where David tried to fix something, and it got all wonky, and Kay was like, "This is what you did wrong," because
Kay doesn't know what you did wrong. Kay just knew how to fix it.
Right. Because Kay has spent the time and energy, and it's like, someone, I think it was Ribonanza, said during our charity game, it's not a chaotic, wholesome stream unless there's like a tech issue. And realistically, that's true of everybody who streams for any appreciable length of time.
I had tech issues when I worked on streams for Red Bull. And you just work around it. That's just people like why I've had people be like, you handled this crisis so quickly, so easily, so coolly. And I'm like, because this is just my personal thing. I'm not messing up a major brand.
Right. But like every streamer I respect, and a lot of them I don't, have all had like stream issues or tech issues midstream, let alone, and like, you know, we've all seen the tweet of, hey, I just couldn't get it to work today, so I'm not going live. The end.
So we have been chatting for almost an hour and a half. Being cool, I mean, I am not cool. I'm objectively not cool, but I can keep cool under pressure. No, I am a freaking massive nerd. It is ridiculous.
Did no one tell you that nerds are in now?
Well,
it's no longer 1995. Being a nerd is cool.
It will always be 1995 in my head.
Same. Big same.
So, David, what are you? And I'm gonna open this up to chat, but chat also, there's a delay and they have to type. So, chat, what are you excited about for 2024? And then I'm asking that of you, David. What's the thing that you are most looking forward to in 2024?
New job so that I can funnel money into our company. Just because I want to slap down like a chunk of money and be like, these people, be on a stream, here's money for it. And yeah, no longer being at a crossroads in life. For those that don't know, I'm going to be like, in all the time that we have had Chaotic Wholesome Presents, David has not GM'd on camera. That is going to change in 2024. And also like further building a platform that other people can showcase their stuff on. Like, we're in talks with a lot of people about running stuff here, and I am really excited to make a safe and reasonable place for these people to do what they love, especially considering so many of those places had hiccups or folded this year. Introducing a lot of people to the TTRPG space. Also excited about that. And I'm excited for whatever magic Kay is going to conjure into this universe. And still being completely buried by all of the work that Kay does, because Kay is a perpetual motion machine.
Kato says Arcane Season 2, and yes, I am very excited for more of that. I love League of Legends lore. I'm not going to comment about anything else except the lore of League of Legends.
There are people who work and have worked at Riot that I would fist fight in a dark alley. And I'm saying that into a hot mic. So 10 years from now, when the judge looks at me, it was like, yeah, I did it. He know what he did.
We are excited for Candace to not be at a crossroads. Rex is going to lock down things that he wants to do, getting onto them, including DMing charity streams. Rex, as always, if you need, want, or would like help, advice, tech, whatever, please let us know. We will be
Absolutely
so incredibly happy to help out. Mallory says going to do some projects that they wouldn't be able to do a year ago, would have attempted. Scary things are good. That's what you keep telling yourself. It's scary. It's scary. I streamed my second TTRPG game ever, and I streamed my second time GMing ever. I recorded my first time GMing so that I could go back and watch it and hate myself. So yes, do it. It's good. Candace says queer cowboy game, spicy D&D game, a secret new podcast with some Adamless, a bunch of audio dramas, and an all-black table of Morkborg. I cannot wait. Holy cats. Yeah, for me, I mean, obviously, there are 2 games that I adore that I've not been able to play for the latter month or few of 2023, so I'm so excited to get to play Emergency Power again and Chalice again. I don't know if any of you saw the season finale of season 3 of Emergency Power, but some interesting things are in the works for season 4, and I am so excited for you all to see Soul's redesign. I am excited to have the talk show continue. For those of you who don't know, the talk show was not like a planned thing. The talk show was literally like we can do it, let's do it. We need something while we're working on this other stuff. And talk show is here because you all are here and showing up in chat. And thank you. Speaking of, Signal Station says, looking forward to helping a friend launch their new TTRPG and writing more stuff for it. That is so awesome. We love indies here. That's another thing I'm looking forward to is I have to work on the graphic. Just time and COVID knocking me out messed me up, but we have guests. We bring guests on the show to talk about their campaigns, to talk about their TTRPG systems, to talk about the dice they're making and the TTRPG accessories. And I cannot wait to have even more guests on to tell us about the awesome stuff that they're doing. And obviously our two secret projects, one of which being Wayheart, our other bespoke system. So some of y'all gonna get hit up for playtesting. We got to playtest a couple things, more than one thing. And I am just excited to see what stories I get to tell and with whom next year. I really hope we can keep this momentum going because David knows, Candace knows, the charity game is always, the Christmas charity game is always the highlight of my year. I am still flying high from it. I cannot believe the people who are agreeing to sit at our tables. I cannot believe the people who show up week after week to chat with us, and I cannot wait to make more spaces at our tables for more people, be it to play, be it to share their projects, the things they're creating. And I just really want to, especially in this ridiculous, terrible time that we live in, to give back, be that through charity or be that through giving people a little bit of time to escape whatever crushing reality they're stuck in. And I can't wait to continue to spend time and tell stories with my best friend David here. So.
The other thing that I'm looking forward to is showing up to Kay's house randomly at some point and banging on the door and scaring her cats. That is definitely
Gilmore will
on the
yell at
agenda.
Jareth will vanish. Gilmore will yell at you.
Well, no matter what I do, Jareth will vanish.
This is true.
Jareth always has a smoke bomb on deck. It's like, listen,
Yes.
you're never gonna find me.
Yes. And for those of you who were not here for our PAX recap, at PAX, Cake and I and the EPP crew and Salty Queer discovered Goblin with a Fat Ass. And that is a game that's going to be run sooner or later. I'm not sure where, I'm not sure in what format, but I cannot wait. Looking forward to moving back to SoCal and finally getting to play in-person game again. I miss SoCal so much. I miss it so much.
You wouldn't miss it this week because it is raining for the next couple of days.
Well, I will tell the cats that we love them, but they are not here, and they're about to be very mad at me. Do not encourage David. We do not encourage the ducky here, y'all.
Look, I'm reckless,
Y'all.
okay?
All
I
right.
will go on the run.
Any final thoughts we have? Any other things we would like to shout out? I just, again, want to genuinely say thank you again to everyone who came out for the charity game. If you donated, we are so grateful. If you planted the seed of an idea, you helped us more than you could know, because creating isn't that easy, as we have discovered from everyone just wanting to use AI to create. Creating takes work and effort, and if you're not cutting corners, it takes time. So thank you to all of you who have encouraged us, who have given us ideas, who have critiqued, who have given us warnings or feedback. Thank you to everyone who retweets, who shows up, who follows. We are at 499 Twitch followers. And that is if you told me, 4 years ago that I started streaming, that this is where we would be, wouldn't have believed you, because I was streaming to 1, maybe 2 people. And now every time we go live, we get to hang out with a bunch of people.
I remember when Kay was streaming to me.
Yes. Yes. I love the rain. I love thunderstorms. That is the one thing I get on this side of the country, is I get thunderstorms.
Yeah, I think there's been precisely 2 thunderstorms in LA in the past 10 years.
I told David this. I'm going to tell y'all that. So because we're working on Chalice, that we were talking about soundtracks, both for inspiration and to share when the game goes live again. And because we were talking about that, I had long joked, I'm like, I should make a playlist for Burton, but I cannot handle that much Garth Brooks. I, as a human being, cannot personally, because Burton's a good bean, but they are also just country AF. And because we were talking about playlists and different players were sharing their playlists for their characters, my neurodivergence said, you need a playlist for this character. 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 So just shut up the voice that was just going on repeat back of my head. I started trying to find that era in the 90s where country and pop kind of I've been going through country adjacent that has the twang but is a little less. And I found a couple of those, but I broke down and I'm like, I just got to do a country playlist and start pulling out the appropriate ones. So over the past weekend, I have listened to more country music than I have in probably the last 15 years. But the playlist is filling out. It's getting there. I made my first playlist for a character and it's constantly on repeat. Yo, Soul's playlist is, I'm not going to say it's lit, but it is absolutely appropriate for that character. But expect to see much more emergency power in 2024. Again, expect to see this show. It would not be here if not for y'all. Y'all are the reason we kept it going. If no one showed up, we would not be doing it. Cannot thank you enough. Burton would absolutely listen to Chattahoochee. I was laughing because I came across the song. I'd forgotten it. It had deleted itself from my memory, but it's all right to be itty bitty. I'm like, dang it, that's a Burton song. Got to put it on the playlist. Don't want it, but it's there. Pop songs that just touch a slide guitar in the bridge. They were everywhere. Yes. I like songs that I really like the banjo. Again, I am so country. There was this one random song that actually ended up on Uenya is my Irish My Little Pony tiefling. And this one song was just 100% them. And I'm like, I love the sound of the song. Why do I love the sound of this? It's a banjo. It's a pop song with a banjo. Gods, I'm Southern. So more playlists. Burton, I am not sure exactly where on the spectrum Burton is, but Burton is on the A spectrum. And outside of a couple little crushes, they've never had like that. So the number of love country songs that I just get to skip over because it just doesn't work for them, that at least is a relief. But yes, the banjo just makes me very happy. And our other secret project will have banjo. It can't tell me that cannot have banjo. That has to have banjo.
That is another thing I'm looking forward to is having enough money to pay creators, because there's a lot of music I want to commission, and I know a lot of like professional musicians, and I've like talked to them and they're excited to do it. I just need to like come up with the money. We are always commissioning more art. There's always a queue of art we want to commission that we cannot afford. I am very much looking forward to being able to like throw money at creators, especially artists, when they don't have to draw furry art. Like, there's nothing wrong with furry art. I'm just saying that there are artists out there who need a break.
One can only do so much if.
Yeah.
But also, between D&D and Pathfinder, half of those are going to be furry art commissions anyway.
Yep.
Hello, Robin Dew. Thank you for following us over on LiveSpace. But yes, I believe that's where we're going to wrap it up. You followed us just in time, Robin. So for those who don't know, are new here, I am Kay. I work in video games and I do TTRPG stuff every chance I get. Normally I have, well, I don't know how many of them are live versus recorded anymore because my calendar is empty to the end of the year. But normally you can find me on at least one TTRPG per week. But I am taking a streaming break until the end of the year. However, the same is not true of my co-host, David. David, who the heck is you? What the heck is we doing here? And when can we find you through the end of the year?
Hi, I'm David. I will be doing programming streams when my brain recovers, usually weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific. Fridays, I do a dedicated gaming stream where I play Disco Elysium. Expect surprise gaming streams here and there when I have the time and energy and I am not face down in Overwatch like a bad person. Because listen, no one has a good time playing Overwatch. That's a rant for another day, but no one has fun playing this. There are games that people play that are not fun and no one has a good time, and we all play them, and we just get it anyway. You're the only one. You're the only one. Moira remains. As a former Moira remains are the only ones that are there having a good time. That and like Doomfist 1. Anyway, but I'm doing stuff. I'm streaming. You can check me out here on this channel and on the YouTube version of this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And on the LiveSpace.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. But this has been a year's worth of Chaotic Wholesome Presents Tuesday Table Talk Show. I should probably stop saying like the Tuesday part in case like something catastrophic happens and we have to like shift the day or shift the time at some point. Like we might start at 6:15 at one point. Who knows? Oh, you may have an opinion. I would pay money to watch face cams of people playing against Kato as May in Overwatch because blood vessels would get burst. It is hilarious. Anyway, yes, this is the Chaotic Wholesome Presents Table Talk Show where every week, except for through the rest of the year, we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better player, how to be a better GM, how to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
And we will continue this, as David said, in 2024 with some special guests, including, and I don't mind saying it because they've reached out a couple times, including the highly requested producer to the stars, DC Lasser, as well as someone who's been hanging out in chat here. So, we will be back in 2024 with much more concrete schedules and all that as we sort things out. More guest games coming, more guest GMs, more stuff. But all of that only exists because of you all here, you all watching in VOD, you all hanging out in Discord, all of y'all. You're awesome. Cake, if you want to come on the show, you just let us know.
We will schedule it.
Yeah, you don't put that out into the world, Cake, if you are not ready.
We'll pull that trigger.
But again, Cake was on a streamed panel at PAX. Don't let Cake fool you. So, thank you all so much for being just the most amazing and incredible community we could ask or hope for. Again, we are still a small and humble channel, but you have already just surpassed our wildest dreams, our wildest expectations for what we ever could have thought or hoped this channel would be. It is all because of you and your support in whatever ways you can give it. We are so grateful. We hope we have given back to you in kindness and entertainment, in stories, in advice, in helping you accomplish your goals. And if we can do more to help with that, please reach out. Because genuinely, we are only here and able to do this because of you. So thank you again. We hope you have a wonderful holiday season, what and however you celebrate. And I'm going to fall off the face of the internet for a little bit because that's what my family demands.
So who is the lucky raid person? We have Painting Pirate doing some Dead by Daylight. Xander's doing Xander stuff. And then we have Chelsea and Nicotine.
Yeah. I always love going to see Pirate. I got to meet Pirate for the first time at PAX Unplugged. I am down for whomever. Yes, I hope you all survive the holidays. I wish you peace and as little drama in that time frame as possible.
I hope you emerge from the holidays unscathed.
Who do we want to do, David?
Painting Pirate.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everybody. Talk show next year. Bye.
Bye, y'all.